keep forgetting that I'm actually an award-winning DJ. I am. I only thought of it coming up in the van tonight. I'm an award-winning DJ.
Okay, Mick. Well, that's a great way to start the show. Thanks for coming in. Michael O'Donovan, a.k.a. Baldy Mick.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. So, and the video guys.
Yeah.
So tell us how you're involved in the wedding industry.
Well, like you said, I'm a DJ and I shoot wedding videos primarily. I dabble a little bit in photography, but it's primarily videos and DJing.
Yeah. And are you long at each?
Like you, I'm DJing a long time. 20 years DJ now this year.
20?
No, 21 years DJing, I think. And video 17 years then.
Yeah.
The guy that shot my wedding video, when I came back from honeymoon, I bought him out.
Yeah.
And I took over his the rest of the year's bookings. And
what year was that?
That was 2003.
Right. I haven't looked back since.
No.
And you're based around Sligo, but do you cover the country for videos?
Yes, but it's mainly Sligo, Leitrim, Donegal, Mayo, sometimes Roscommon. And I'll go to Cork in a heartbeat, because that's where I'm from, obviously. So I go to Cork in a heartbeat.
And it's just wedding videos you do, or
no? I do
promos?
promo videos, commercial videos. I do a bit of vlogging. Haven't vlogged in a while now, but I have about 70. I think it's up to episode 70 or 71 vlogs, 75 vlogs.
Yeah, there's a lot of work in there.
There's a lot of work in it, but I thoroughly enjoy it. And there's so many vlogs that are shot and not edited.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff that I want to do, but it's just trying to find the time.
Trying to find the time is the problem. And it's the editing, it's not the shooting even. It's the...
Yeah, the edit takes 10 times
like
as long.
You do this, what we could talk for 10 minutes, but there's hours of work after getting it all mixed, audio mixed and uploaded, and then a different format has to be uploaded somewhere else and all that kind of thing.
You spend 16 hours or 17 hours shooting a wedding video, and you could spend 3 times that doing an edit.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Easily. And then you're, not to mention rendering it out and all of that sort of stuff. But it's just the nature of the beast.
So on the video side, sell yourself. What packages do you have? What packages do you have for couples?
Pressure.
This is a wedding fair now.
I primarily offer one package. Simple. It's
book me. That's it. I'll turn up and do whatever you want.
All day package. That's the package I want. I want to be in the bride's house 3 hours before the ceremony.
Yeah. Or
2 hours before the ceremony. The hour before that, I'm in the ceremony venue.
Yeah.
And then I'm with the bride and groom right up until usually the first dance or just after it. Yeah. Or sometimes they want me to do 30 minutes after the first dance. Now, you go back down through the years and you were there until the band finished. And sometimes, even into the DJ as well. But nobody seems to want that at the moment. But that might come back around again. But we'll wait and see,
What's your cut-off? Because weddings are later now, aren't they?
I don't have a cut-off, really. I mean, I tell people, look, I'll cover
some guys don't. Because, we get that a lot where, you be setting up and somebody come up and, will the first dance be by this time because the video guy has to go,
No, what I say...
So there is a bit of that.
No, what I say to couples is, I say, up until 11:30, up until 11 o'clock, or the first dance, whichever happens second.
Yeah.
So if your first dance happens at 9:30 or 9:45, then you're going to get an hour's dancing, which is brilliant for them.
Yeah.
But if your first dance happens at 5 to 11, then 10 past 11, I'm gone. Good luck.
Yeah.
My day is spent. I'll have spent 15 hours sort of.
It is a long day,
It is a long day, yeah.
But weddings are later, aren't they? Do you find that?
They can be.
In general?
I was thinking about that coming up the road. I was waiting for the question where you'd ask me top tips type of a thing. And I think
that'll be a whole other episode.
Yeah.
Of a series.
I think you have to treat a wedding before the day like as if you were planning a military attack, or it has to be done to military precision. I would recommend to couples, and I've always said this, that whoever the most vocal of the bridesmaids, not the chief bridesmaid, because the chief bridesmaid's job is there to look after the bride, but another bridesmaid, her job is to keep the show running to schedule. And it's her fault if it goes late. And she's the one that has to be able to tell the photographer, you've got 15 minutes, that's it, good luck.
Yeah.
Or the band, you have 15 minutes to set up, or you've, tea breaks coming out at 11 o'clock, you need to get a move on.
Yeah.
But you have to plan it out properly, and you have to try and stick to, or whatever. What happens then is you're paying X amount for a band, and they're not starting because somebody did something, or something went wrong. You can't account for hand of God type of things, or accidents, or God forbid, something goes wrong or something like that. Car breaks down, which has happened in the past.
There will be,
But it should be ran it should be ran to a military precision. Even for your food, the hotels.
Actually, we had a wedding, I won't really say, but we had a wedding there a while ago. It was a civil, and I think it was nearly 2 hours delayed because they forgot the paperwork. And the wedding was in Sligo, and the paperwork was an hour and a half away.
Why couldn't they sign the paperwork the next day in front of a witness and the celebrant?
That's what I thought, and that's what I think the couple thought. But the guy that was doing it, no, not unless the paperwork was there, he wouldn't start. So now what they ended up doing was they got the photos before it. You know what I mean? And everyone went in the bar early, I suppose.
Right.
But I just thought, something like that can happen.
Now, maybe there's a legal requirement for that, but I don't know. I would have thought.
Usually they just sign all the paperwork at the end anyway.
I don't know. I mean, I've done weddings where couples have come in where they're actually already legally married, and they just go through a ceremony.
Yeah.
So I don't see why the difference is that they couldn't go through a ceremony and then sign the paperwork, come down to the priest's house with a couple of witnesses, and sign it there and then, and let him ask the questions again in front of the two witnesses.
It was just one of those delays that was a bit odd. You couldn't plan for that kind of thing.
No.
And then it was an hour and a half away, the paperwork. But they got the photos, they pulled it back, it was still roughly on time, you know what I mean? But these things will happen.
But I mean, if you have your meal planned for 5:30 in the hotel, or scheduled for 5:30, and for whatever reason something goes wrong that you could have controlled. Let's say an example would be, I would always recommend that if the bride, and it doesn't happen as often now, but there was a time when the bride and the bridesmaids and the mother of the bride would go to a hairdresser's to get their hair done.
Morning,
and the bride would travel in the same car as the bridesmaids and the mother of the bride.
So she had to wait.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, she'd have been in the hairdresser from 7:30, but it could be 10 o'clock before she arrives back at the house because she had to wait for the rest of them.
But it's nearly always done in the house.
It's nearly always done in the house now, so that doesn't happen anymore, thankfully.
Yeah. And then away from the video side, there's DJ Baldy Mick.
Yeah.
So, and you're still doing weddings all the time.
I still do it.
Which would you prefer?
That's an awful question.
But just say, the money's the same. You can go out and do a video, or you can go and do a gig. Which?
It would depend on the couple.
Okay.
It would depend on the couple. It would depend on the venue. It would depend on the band.
Same venue, same couple, same band. Everything's the same. Which do you want to do?
Which do I want to do?
Do you prefer to be behind the camera, or
no?
I
think I would prefer to DJ.
Yeah.
I think DJing, not only is it an easier job.
Be careful now.
No. I think
a lot of DJs listening.
No, I think DJing is I think the most difficult job at a wedding is the video job. My job.
Yeah, I was only thinking of that today because I was looking at one of the surveys, and the photographers, the average spend is still more for a photographer. And
it is.
I know it's in some cases it's justified, but I still think there's a lot of work after the wedding for a videographer. The day is only like a quarter of it. If
a fifth, I would nearly say.
Yeah,
a fifth. We're with the photographer. The photographer, to a large extent, up to, it depends on which wedding you're at and which photographer you're using, have somewhat of control of the day's events. This is where I go back to, if the bridesmaid had control of the day's events, it's down to her to make sure the photographer has X amount of time, or the cars are in such and such a place at such and such a time, etc. But the videographer, you can plan. I mean, I walk into a church and I'd use 7 audio sources, and still, the priest might come around the wrong way, or a different way you weren't expecting, or he might change his mind, or another priest might stand in you, and your video, even though your audio might be okay, your video could be you might lose a couple of seconds here or there, or you might have to move around the front, or it could be completely the wrong angle. And lighting and you go into hotels, and I'm not giving out about hotels because I love all the hotels that we work in, right? I do. And I love the people that work in the hotels because they work so hard. People in the hotels work really, really hard. Yeah. But I don't know, from a video point of view, sometimes the lighting, people don't think of it. And they're not supposed to think of it. So it does make our job, my job, the video job, somewhat difficult or more difficult. And for that reason, I think our job is possibly the most difficult one to well,
it's run and gun stuff. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I did one little video last year, and there was a small church, altar, ambo, and there was another mic over here in the corner, but it was kind of back behind stuff. There was an old lady setting up, and I just said, do they ever use that one over there? And she goes, well, I'm here 47 years now and they've never used it. I was like, so mic on the altar, mic on this, speakers everywhere.
I know exactly.
Priest came out straight over to this one, and I'm like, oh, come on.
That has happened.
But that can happen, yeah.
That has happened. I did a wedding recently.
I had the one on the speaker, so it was fun, but still.
But like that, I put a mic on the speaker. I put a mic on the musicians. I put two mics on the groom, one backup, one going straight into the camera. I've started putting a mic on the priest, whether they like it or not. I don't even ask them anymore. I just go in so far, I just put this on you. I put a mic on the two ambos, if there's two ambos, right? But for some reason, at this wedding, the readers go up to do the readings on the other side, and the microphone isn't coming through on this side of the church, on the speaker where I had it mic'd up.
Somebody had a panned
left or right. I don't know what had. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Tested it, test 1, 2 beforehand. Singers were coming through. All the rest of the priest was coming through, but the far side of the ambo wasn't coming through. But luckily, experience dictated that I had a backup, so I was covered. Yeah. But you just.
But that's just why. Again, controversial, but I think the video guy, I think, should be paid more than a photographer.
Well, I think so too.
No, I know you're, but I just think there's more work involved. Bottom line, like there is, like you've done some photography for weddings. What percentage would you say of work is on the day photography compared to after? I'm going to guess
50-50.
Yeah, I was just going to say at least 50-50.
Yeah.
Whereas, like we said, a videographer does the same day.
Yeah.
And that's a fifth of the work.
Easily a fifth of the work. Yeah. Yeah. And that's not in preparation. Like before a wedding, before I start, I might spend
3 weeks charging batteries.
Well, you do. You have an awful lot to remember with regards batteries, making sure you have batteries for this, that, and the other, making sure you have backup cameras, backup audio, backup stands. I don't leave the house without, at least having 4, maybe 5 cameras, as even down to the point where you'd bring a GoPro, you put a GoPro in your pocket in case. Yeah. Just to be safe. Because, you won't get a second chance to a large extent. Yeah. You won't get a second chance.
So that's why you prefer the DJing.
It's
less stress. Well, there is something to be said, about band or DJ. At the end of the night,
No, this is where this is going.
You turn off the mixer and you walk away. Like it's kind of the wedding's over. Yeah. Whereas a videographer, a photographer, you still have a lot of work to do after.
You still have a lot of work to do. Yeah. You still have a lot of work to do. And that's why I think the DJing, I think, is sort of is a passion. It's a first love. Even though I love making videos and I love working with couples on the day because I love the sense. And this is going to sound really weird, but I love the hope.
Okay.
And I mean that in the nicest and the best possible way. When a couple are getting married,
little do they know,
it's the hope. And yes, the wedding day is important. Oh my God, it's so important. Yeah. But it's as equally important for, I think, the parents, if not more, for the parents to a large extent. And people say it's the biggest day of your life. It isn't. I'm sorry, it's not. It's certainly in the top 5.
Yeah.
I don't think it is the biggest day of your life. I think there are more important days and there are bigger days. Is it a day that you want to spend that sort of money? Yes, absolutely. You're celebrating your love for your partner. Absolutely. Spend it. Go mad.
Well, it's probably the biggest party you'll throw in your life.
Probably, yeah.
That's because that's what it is.
Although my 40th was quite good.
Did you get a video?
I did, yeah. I shot a couple of videos myself. Yeah, I did, yeah.
That's good. So on the DJ side again, how would you describe your set?
DJ wise,
you like the 80s kind of vibe.
Very 80s with a bit of dance music. So I would work through the sets from, and again, you'd read the crowd, you'd see what the crowd is like. When I arrive, let's say I'm doing DJ at a wedding, I arrive more or less at the same time as the band. I set up at the same time as the band, make sure my system is all okay, good to go, and I do a test during the tea break. Now, usually the band are set up and ready to go before I'm set up and ready to go, so you can't do a test to a large extent. But you wait until the tea break and then you do a test. All is good to go. So as soon as the band is finished and the band says, thanks very much, good luck, we're going to hand you up to Baldy Mick. He's going to take it to 2 o'clock or 2:30 in the morning. Boom, I'm in. Again, depending on the crowd. On the crowd. And I mean, I've done weddings where the band have totally and utterly ruined it for me at the start. Like, they've ruined it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to Gavin. Gavin was there a couple of weeks ago.
Hi-Fi, yeah.
And he was saying, we've set it up, the dance floor is full, and all you got to do is DJ come on and press the button.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work like that, because if the band
they need a break.
Are great,
the people need a break.
Like the lads are, and your band is great. There's lots of great bands out there. People need a break.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they see that as their break.
Yeah. I mean, I've done weddings where I've started the wedding with a slow set.
Yeah.
Where you give them a couple of, smoochy coochie ones, and people just walk off the floor. But I'm expecting that, and that's okay.
It's giving them a break.
Couple of songs in, then slow set. I come on the mic and I say, "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the erection section." And floor clears. A couple of songs in, then usually by the third, 2.5 songs in, you need to start thinking about bringing them back on the floor.
Yeah,
and and what happens is, couples start coming out on the dance floor. I tell fellas, lads, this is your last chance now to get a walk home. Silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
Girls, it's ladies' choice, that type of thing. And by the end of the second song or middle of the third song, you have a full dance floor again, but of couples. And then you hit them with your party set or whatever you want to start.
They've had a bit of a breather.
They've had a bit, you're off and running. Then you're good to go. The band are stripping down their gear. Usually
depending on the crowd,
and you have a full dance floor, and you take that dance floor down and you rock it right until 2:30 in the morning, depending on what the crowd are like. I play everything I do. Even a bit of dance, a bit of mixing, all the party stuff, bit of rock, all that type of stuff. And I take requests as well. And sometimes couples give me playlists, and I'll go through the playlist as I'm doing it, and I'm like, I'll play that. Yeah, I'm not playing that. Not a hope in hell am I playing that.
Yeah.
And I go through it, but I've never had a bad night.
And then you were on about it before. Give a shout out for your new adventure.
Yes.
Well, that's more the day after, isn't it?
So what I've started is. I'm putting a show. Show put together. It's now almost finished. A show put together, launching it at the Ocean Sands Wedding Expo. Plug there for Olivia and the gang on is it the 5th of
I would have guessed
April.
9th.
I think it's the 5th of April.
Okay, I better guess.
I think it's the 5th.
Double check that.
Yeah, double check. So it's more suited to the day after a wedding. So I rock in, and what it is, it's a combination of music, party games, and what's called a smartphone speed quiz.
Yeah.
So what I do is I meet the couple beforehand, and we tailor the questions to the couple, to the bridal party, to the parents of the bridal party. It can be even to guests. And during the evening or the afternoon, my show can be used as a warm-up gig before a band, or can be the main attraction or the main event of the night. And we basically play party games, we play music, we do a bit of dancing, and we find out of the guests who knows the bride and groom the absolute best.
Would this work at a wedding, or do you think the day after?
It would work at a wedding to a small extent, I think, during the meal.
Yeah.
But that's not where I want to pitch it. I'm pitching it for the day after of a wedding. Like I said, either as the warm-up act for 3 hours or the full show for 5 or 6 hours, where I come in, do a bit of music, play a party game, maybe a bit of the quiz, back to music, bit of dancing, back to a party game, bit of the quiz, etc. And at the end of the night then, we find out who knows the couple the best and whether the couple know themselves the best.
Do they win something?
Well, that's
around a drink.
That's up to the couple, and get them a mug or something.
So the Wild Atlantic Wedding Expo is in the Ocean Sounds on the 5th of April. So I'm under pressure to have this show out now by the 5th of April.
You have to.
In a month. Yeah, so you'll be there anyway.
Yes, I will. I'll be launching the show at it, so I hope to see lots of the couples.
So to wrap up, how can people get in touch with you so it's the Video Guys? info@thevideoguys.ie will get me, or on Facebook, The Video Guys Wedding. And then DJ site.
DJ Baldy Mick.
Have you another Facebook page for
I've another
DJ?
Facebook page for DJ Baldy Mick.
And is that DJ Baldy Mick will be for the day after smartphone quiz as well?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And thanks for coming in, Mick.
You're very welcome.
We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.